I'm not going to lie. Hello, Kevin. Also tonight on the show, we have reaction to Wemby making history last night in OKC and Ravens OTA starting without Lamar Jackson. But we start things out there in MSG, Kev.
Christina, I'll keep an eye on Celebrity Row for you, and we'll look for Spike Lee. He's been courtside at MSG since 1985. He's got to be feeling really good about these Knicks. They've won 7 straight and crushing opponents by 19 points per game in the postseason. Plus, they've had 9 days to rest, and they're facing a Cavs team that just beat the Pistons in Game 7 on Sunday. That was about 45 hours ago, and as promised, the Hall of Famer Michael Wilbon joining us now.
Kevin?
When you look at this Knicks team, they were loose. They were feeling good. They were riding a wave, right? Then they get a break. The Cavs are coming off 2 back-to-back 7-game series. Where do you give Cleveland some hope here coming in tonight to try to steal one?
Well, one, when you win games 5 and 7 on the road in Detroit, that's got to give them, if not absolute momentum, certainly some confidence in what they're doing. I think their bigs, Allen and Mobley, are going to be the key. I know everybody wants to talk about the dynamic scoring backcourt. I get it. And those guys can produce and probably need to produce. They can give you 70 points between the two of them. But still, it seems to be Allen and Mobley who really unlock Cleveland. We saw that on the road, particularly in each series in Toronto. We saw it on the road a few days ago against Detroit. But, Kevin, I think this is going to be a little bit more like the beginning of the Philadelphia series than Cleveland folks would like to hear.
Oh.
Yeah, you're coming off a tough series. You don't have a lot of time to rest or gather yourself. Rest versus rust, I get it. I can see the Knicks behind. Okay, so they're down 6 or 8 points at halftime. I think the Knicks are at a distinct advantage in terms of that rest, planning, keeping Cat involved. They got some time to come up with some new wrinkles for Cleveland and that sort of tag team defense they've got. So I expect the Knicks to sort of pick up almost where they left off.
And then another storyline, OG Anunoby potentially on the floor, somebody we didn't see at the end of that Sixers series. For the Knicks, the last time they were in the finals, the NBA Finals, 1999. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
You're familiar with that.
I was here.
Yeah, exactly. What opportunity lies in front of Jalen Brunson and this team right now, considering that title windows are so small in this league?
Well, they're small in this league. I'm glad you mentioned it. And they're even smaller when you look out toward Texas, right? You might want to get now what you can get and be greedy about it. Look, the Knicks are good enough. We've seen that these last 7 games to beat anybody in the league. Even San Antonio or Oklahoma City, if they're on.
Yeah.
But do I expect that sentence to always be true over the next 7 to 10 years? No. So what's at stake for Brunson and Cat and the New York Knicks nation?
Yeah.
Since they're still talking about 1973. I was not here for that. I was at home watching as a young teenager on television. But everything's at stake for the Knicks. And anybody that looks out and sees San Antonio and Oklahoma City and goes, my goodness, even if Oklahoma City, let's say they lose this series or they lose in the finals, how many draft picks? We were just talking about this.
13 first-rounders.
First-rounders and second-rounders is like a total of like near 30.
Yeah.
And San Antonio's got what you see right now. Everything's at stake for these Knicks, but just sort of keeping this going, winning the Eastern Conference. They're the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, but they got to cash in on this chance.
It's a natural segue to what we witnessed last night. And everybody's talking about the Knicks in town, but if you're an NBA fan, everybody's talking about what we saw from a 22-year-old Victor Wembanyama. Youngest guy to put up 40 and 20 in an NBA playoff game, but it's not really about the number. How would you describe what you witnessed in double overtime for the Spurs to get that game won?
It was historic greatness. When you're on lists that only include Shaq and Wilt, which a couple of these lists do. I mean, that it's an amazing thing. And what he did was, I just said, it's the human drama of athletic competition. Put the numbers away, other than the 40 plus and 20. Okay, fine, we know those. But just look at what Wembanyama did that no one of his size has ever been asked to do or could do. The defense, there's a great stat. Brian Windhorst came up with it, I think, this morning. 2 for 10 is what Oklahoma City was facing, shooting against Wembanyama when he was a primary defender. 2 for 10. They only confronted him 10 times in a double overtime game? Yeah, because they were making U-turns and getting the hell out of the lane rather than go in against him and get swatted. At the same time, that guy who had a, yes, I'm going to invoke this, Bill Russell-like presence defensively, pulls up and goes Steph Curry to tie the game 27 feet from three. There's no one, it's not a fluke. We know he can, that's repetitive. That is sustainable. We see it sustained. And so, Kevin, we can't wait to watch him again.
Yes.
It was a historic performance. I don't know. It was interesting last night. People having to ask in our business, what do we think he has left tomorrow? You know what? I got to see him diminished because I don't believe it at this point. We've seen enough. The sample size is large enough to think this kid's got more.
It's unbelievable.
He's got an encore in him.
Yeah, at 49 minutes playing in double overtime, we saw Bill Russell on the defensive side. We saw Wilt Chamberlain on the offensive side. Good luck, Oklahoma City. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to continue our live coverage here. Sports Center on the road here live from Madison Square Garden. Landry Shamet getting ready from the outside. It's quiet right now, but
they have been as good as we've seen just about any team outside of Oklahoma City and San Antonio play, right? But as you said, that has left them with a lot of pressure coming into this series where everybody in this city believes the New York Knicks are going to be playing in the NBA Finals in a couple of weeks. So after a long layoff, we saw Oklahoma City last night against San Antonio look like a team that had a long layoff, that needed some time to get into the game. The Cavs, while they have come off back-to-back 7-game series, are certainly, you would think, going to be ready to play at a playoff intensity. We will see if the Knicks are able to match that tonight, because we saw the Knicks a year ago come into the conference finals, lose that game 1 to the Indiana Pacers in dramatic fashion, and it had them on the back foot that entire series. We'll see if the Knicks can avoid that because, as I said before, everybody here thinks it's going to be 4 wins relatively easily and getting the Knicks to their first NBA Finals in a very long time.
we just saw James Harden pregame, Donovan Mitchell, a Westchester County kid, 45 minutes away from Madison Square Garden. When you look at the Cavs, to make this a series, who has to step up for Cleveland?
I mean, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell need to play well, but this is going to be about the bigs inside. It's going to be about Evan Mobley and about Jared Allen. In the last 2 Game 7s the Cavs have played, Jared Allen has been phenomenal in both of those games. You saw Evan Mobley have a very good game in Game 7 as well, and they're going to need to play like that against these Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns has been incredible these past 7 games. Him operating as the hub of the offense has been a big part of why the Knicks have been supercharged at that end of the court. And Mitchell Robinson against the Cavs has dominated these guys in the paint. In 36 minutes, I believe, against the Cavs this season, he has 16 offensive rebounds. He has done whatever he's wanted against them. He did it when they played a couple years ago in the playoffs. They are going to have to keep Mitchell Robinson off the board, so they're going to have to neutralize Karl Anthony Towns if the Cavs want to win this series.
Mobley and Allen, we saw the stats right there, combining for 44 points and 19 rebounds in that Game 7 victory to beat the Pistons to advance and get here just 2 days later. Tim, thank you so much. Christine, let's go back to you as we continue to get ready here live from Madison Square Garden. Knicks and the Cavs as we are 140 away.
All right, we welcome in NBA analyst Danny Green joining us now. So, Danny, we know that Cleveland is going to be focused on shutting down Jalen Brunson. How exactly will they be able to get that done?
I mean, with superstars, you have to throw different things at them. You can't just give them a steady diet of anything. So you got to give them double coverage, single coverage, trap them, hedge them. But more than anything, you got to put size on him. And I think Dean Wade is one of those guys that they're going to use because he has size. You hope his foot speed is good enough and kind of, be able to get over screens. But so with Jalen Brunson, you also got to deny him some. So you got to throw out different things at him, the kitchen sink, because he's the head of the snake. He makes his team go. And they're going to have different matchups. They're going to seek out targets. Jalen Brunson's going to try to get Donovan Mitchell in action. He's going to try to get James Harden in action. You got to keep bigger bodies on him. And if there's smaller bodies, you got to get somebody to come help and make it difficult for him.
Okay, so having said all of that, the next question is, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but what is your series pick?
I got the Knicks. I know Bontemps was talking about it. I don't think it's going to be an easy one. I think we have some competitive games, but I do have it happening in a short amount of games.
Okay, writing that down just so we can see what happens in this one. We have to talk about Wemby last night. He put up 41 points, 24 rebounds to lead the Spurs to a double OT win over the Thunder in Game 1 of the West Finals. He came up huge late, 16 points in clutch time, and I audibly yelled when he hit that logo 3. It was wild. So with all of that, he put himself in elite company last night, becoming the youngest player in NBA playoff history with a 40-point, 20-rebound game ahead of guys like Lou Alcindor, Bob McAdoo, and Wilt. So Wemby became the second Spur with 40 and 20 in a playoff game, joining the Admiral, David Robinson. And we've got reporters with both teams, Tim McMahon with the Thunder. But we start with Michael C. Wright, who's covering the Spurs.
Thanks, Christine. The San Antonio Spurs spent Tuesday reflecting on Victor Wembanyama's monstrous performance in Game 1. Now, before that game, they all watched from the bench as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander received his second consecutive MVP trophy. Needless to say, they did not like that, not one bit. Every player in the Spurs uniform, they believe that their teammate Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the world. And they also believe that Game 1 was his opportunity to prove it, so his teammates wanted to do everything they could to help there.
I think it's a statement game. You know, obviously Shai getting the MVP, Vic obviously wasn't happy about that. And us just being able to corral around him and him leading us, him showing he's the best player in the world. I mean, going into their house Game 1 with him winning MVP and the crowd being that loud, it was, like I said, it's a big statement win.
I spoke with NBA Sixth Man of the Year, Keldon Johnson, in the locker room after Game 1, and he told me, hey, we respect Oklahoma City, but at the same time, this is not a situation where we're trying to come to Oklahoma City and steal one game before the series shifts back to San Antonio. He said, no, man, we are here to win this thing. So the San Antonio